Hi there, Scorpios and Scorpio risings. This is Kimberly Knox, KK, your astrologer, and we are going to be talking about your general forecast for this extremely dynamic month of September into October. Lots are going on. Mars is a planet, one of your rulers, along with Pluto, that triggers eclipses. And this eclipse that's on us today, this morning, I got a little delay because of the weather going on, has been triggering this eclipse well since August the 22nd. So we've already been amidst this, this real force to get with it, to, get our to-do list out, to figure out what needs to be revised, to utilize our tools to assess what needs to be fixed, to improve. That's what Virgo does. Virgo is about assimilating and about taking what's useful and then eliminating the rest. In the body, similarly, Virgo rules small intestines, absorption, the digestion, part of that digestion process that's extremely important. And Scorpios are very good about elimination. I mean, about transformation, and it rules elimination in the body. So we've got an extremely dynamic month. Your rulers, your secondary ruler, Pluto, is also going to be going direct. So let's get into this. I want to thank you all for subscribing to my channel, sharing it with others that you think will love this information as well, and allowing me to spend time with you and share my passion of this ancient and wise science of astrology. The looking into the deeper mysteries of life, which are exactly what Scorpio likes to get into. Scorpio is all about being the healer. It is the alchemist. It's also, on the low end, it can be painful, Scorpio energy. Mars has gone past your sign. It got out of Scorpio on August the 2nd, gone into Sagittarius. So you're feeling this real surge to go ahead and to really take some action. During that time, through the summer, when Mars was retrograding, it was in your first house. This is the house of your personal will, your ability to be forceful, to get things done, to take action on your own behalf. So perhaps if you didn't get into too many arguments, you were really moving forward with your agenda to make positive change. We look at Hillary Clinton, who's a Scorpio. So, some of the energy I'll be talking about tonight in general is replicated of her. And you look at that Pluto energy, that Mars energy, that power to go forward and to make change, to be a change agent, and to leave your mark in the world. It's an extremely powerful business sign as well. It's one of the money signs. It rules all of the joint money, the investments and financial, where you're coming together in deep mergers. That's what Scorpio's about. When you talk about, sexuality too, that's representative to people coming together. And so it's about accomplishing more than you can on your own. It's making a deep investment. So Saturn spent a long time, 2.5 years in your sign. And Mars was finally doing that last bit of cleanup this spring into the summer. Well, yeah, that long. It was doing some cleanup of all those kind of little notes that we left behind about, this is not something I'm taking with me. So this again is that elimination process. When we were looking at the people and friends and associations in our life, the relationships in our life, what are we keeping? What are we getting rid of? So we're, that process is coming to, it's not ended yet, but we're really moving forward in really positive ways now. So let's get on to where this eclipse is affecting you. Now, it didn't just start. We had an eclipse there last year in September, 20 degrees to be exact. And so this eclipse here in your 11th house, the 11th house is ruling your long-term goals and dreams that you have, reassessing those. But also you may have seen a shifting in friends and groups that you're involved with. And definitely by association, 11th house, association of, being involved in humanitarian groups, or, just being enriched with friendships, that through those they can benefit us going forward in the ways to accomplish the things that we need to accomplish. So this new moon eclipse is part of a T-square. There's a dynamic going on here. And Saturn has been in your second house of money, personal value, and personal cash flow. So what are you doing? What have you been doing over the last year and a half to look at what your value and talents are, possibly new stuff that you want to bring out? Scorpio is fabulous at developing new businesses, seeing a talent, utilizing the efforts with other people to bring something forward, and or restructuring your cash so that it's you're in a more beneficial position. Mars on August the 2nd went into this cash flow area. So I reported on that in my last video. This is a time when all the energy in that area is picking up. So perhaps you had expenses, perhaps you had to spend more, or perhaps you're finding ways to make more money. These are the two ways that Mars in this sector of your life are represented. On August the 24th, we all had Mars and Saturn come together somewhere. For you, Scorpio, represented in your house of value, personal value, and finances. So this is a time when Saturn also being there is asking you to be responsible about how you spend money, placing the value on, where you're placing, investing your tools of value, time, money, efforts. So this is a two-year cycle comes together. We plant a seed here. There's responsibility that needs to happen, that we're going to move forward in new ways, and how you're going to do that. So you're looking at, okay, I know all these talents that I have. How can I go forward and make money? Well, the thing is that by you being responsible here, it's going to benefit. Let's say you're going to come this way. Let's say the 5th house is all your creative efforts, things that you have in your mind that are very creative that you want to bring out. Some little gift. It's like birthing a new child, because it's the house of creative efforts. It's the Leo house. It's the house of children. Perhaps some of you actually had a new child come into your life, or you want to have one, and you're finding the extra money that is required to do that. And that's part of these long-term goals that you have, that child coming into your life. Now, there's going to be an empty leg that's activated today through this new moon, and also after the full moon lunar eclipse. So that empty leg is Gemini, and that's representative by your 8th house here of shared finances, loans that you have, mortgages that you've taken out, anywhere that you've combined money from other people, your partnership assets, money from your spouse, or like if you're getting a divorce or you're not, and it's money that's related to partnership. It can be personal or business partnership. It's also taxation, or it's also getting a windfall from someone else. It's getting money from others. So that's what loans are represented here. So this whole money cycle and how it's allowing you to go forward with some of your creative efforts, that's a theme. And it's been a theme, actually. It started last September because the eclipses were there as well. So you're going to see how far you've come in this whole process. So let's go to, so that's your second, your original ruler. Some of the signs have 2 rulers. You're one of them. Aquarius is another. Mars. As I said, Mars has gone into Sagittarius, and that's giving you so you can feed off of this forward, optimistic, future-oriented energy. And there's a couple times here this month where this surge is going to be really important. Now, for all of us, this eclipse is not really going to get going because it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury's retrograde. It's not going to get going until September the 22nd. But around that time, very positive time for negotiations. You can write these down. September the 20th all the way through the 23rd. We've got your ruler, Pluto, and Mercury in a trine. So this is powerful negotiation time to lay out plans. And obviously, after Mercury goes retrograde, after it goes direct in its station, it's a lot more powerful, and it's getting its power back. Put it that way. Your ruler, Pluto, is going to go direct on September the 26th. Again, powerful surge of energy. Pluto has been in your third house for several years now, and this has been allowing you in powerful ways to utilize your voice to make changes. Now, some of us could be utilizing it in other powerful ways to manipulate, to control, but you want to utilize it in the most powerful ways possible, and that is to create change. And that's what Scorpios are amazing at. You can you would find this to be a time where potentially there's obsessive thoughts going on. So you want to watch out for that as well. Mars is going to be shifting signs on September the 22nd. So Mars gets out of your sector that's involving cash flow, and it goes into your third house. And then it meets up with Pluto on October the 19th. So this whole time it's in there. When Mars gets into a house, you've got action all around all of the things that represent that. What does the third house represent? Again, it's your thoughts, it's your thinking, very bright, very sharp. You're speaking. Be careful about, how you're voicing. You're going to be very forceful in your voicing your opinions. You could be getting into arguments with siblings. That's a third house issue. All of your neighbors, that's all a third house issue. It's the car and your transportation that you're driving. So I would be careful driving around this time. Just be mindful. Use more defensive driving skills when Mars is going through this area. If you wanted to get a new car, perhaps you're going forward in that way. Perhaps you need to also now start taking a lot of small trips. Perhaps you've come to a new career or job, or maybe you're laying out something new that you're working on, and it requires you to get in the car and go not door to door, but doing some sales where you're actually reaching out to potential new clients. Third house, that's all third house stuff. Maybe you have a chance to really stand up in your environment and make speeches. We look at Hillary, and this right along this time. This is right before the finalization of right before the election time. So for you also, perhaps you're running for some office, or you're making some big difference in your local area. Perhaps you're part of Toastmasters and you're working on giving speeches, or you have a speech to give. This is a powerful time for you to have a voice and to be heard. So use it wisely. Don't come with the low energy of this is manipulation and control and anger and vengefulness. So keep that at bay. Use this energy at the highest level. It's really amazing. Mercury retrograde. So Mercury went retrograde a few days ago. So we're in the midst of this. When did it actually go retrograde? Gosh, it was on Tuesday, just 2 days ago. A lot's been going on here with the weather, so I'm getting a little distracted on time. But Mercury retrograde. Well, Mercury, if you watch my Mercury retrograde video, you know that it rules a lot. It rules, Scorpio's always interested in business connections and business deals and contracts and things like that. So we just have to be wary of things that we're signing. A lot of stuff comes up during Mercury retrograde that we've been waiting on. That's the beauty of this time. But definitely after September, I'm changing my chair. September the 11th, when we're getting that aha moment about things, then we can go forward a little bit clearer. But we've got to get all this information together and sort it out. You're not the only one. Everyone's being affected by this. But it's in your 11th house. So you are reconsidering perhaps your long-term goals. You're reconnecting with old friends that maybe can help take you forward. You are you're revising the different groups, or looking at all the different groups that you belong to for networking. And you know, Scorpio likes to be out there making a difference, and definitely if it's related to business, going forward in big ways. So that's important. All right, let's look at, just go right down the line here. So we have this, I really like to mention, you know, we've got Mercury meeting up with Jupiter again, and it's going to do it another time on October the 11th. But this is when we know that we're in the midst of all this work that we have to do, but we're happy to do it because this is where we want to go. So it's in line with all that. Of course, Jupiter has been in your 11th house. What does that bring? It brings really successful, high-powered friendships at this time. It brings, you know, a good deal of cash flow from your career. That's positive as well. So these connections, and it's, you know, it's expanding everything in this area. So we actually are feeling uplifted a bit now with this connection. September the 3rd, Saturday, it's coming up. Moon and Venus are coming together. Moon and Venus are going to come together each month, and it's very important because Venus is going to be going into your sign also on September 23rd, I believe. It's a Friday. Let me just look, make sure. Yes, September 23rd. Sorry. September 23rd, Venus is going into your sign, so that's a blessing too. That's bringing, you know, beauty and favor, and a time for you to kind of revamp the way you look and to be able to attract to you, you know, people and benefic, you know, nice quality, good quality blessings to you. So this is a really good time as well. So the end of the month is, you know, things are really shaping up. But on September the 3rd, make it a point to do something nice. The Libra area represents your 12th house, so this is behind the scenes. Stay home with your sweetheart, do something nice. Take time to enjoy some meditation or yoga or things that you're working on that help you to relax or to kind of, because this is the house where you actually have to recuperate and to fortify your body in different ways. So Moon, Venus, they're together. Take it, because as I said, Venus is making her trek toward wholeness, and that's going to be on January the 13th. So we're all bringing out something. So each month when the Moon and Venus come together, it's a special day. So I like to point that out. On September the 7th, Sun is trining Pluto. Okay? Now, this is also powerful to you, so you're going to be feeling more confident around this time, September the 7th. So you can write that down. This is right before the first quarter moon. So at first quarter, everyone is required to take a step out. Some action is required where we actually go forward with something, or we decide that we're not going to go forward with it. There's a decision being made here. So we have to go forward. And that exact same day, Jupiter leaves your 11th house and goes into your 12th house. You're going to be having, for the next year, Jupiter behind the scenes, expanding love, relationships, cooperation. So, you know, expand that time that you spend behind the scenes with your loved ones. You know, cozy nesting, preparing something big behind the scenes, delving into your subconscious a little bit more, your psychology. You know, looking into some deeper things as well, because then you're going to be having Jupiter go into your sign, and that's an amazing time once in every 12 years. So you are in preparation in that way, and that is fabulous. So you have that to look forward to. Venus square Pluto, September the 11th. Well, just celebrate that day because it's a last quarter square. You know everything about passion. Passion just means we've got some, you know, some focused intent on something. And so when Venus and Pluto come together once a year, plants a seed. Well, we're at last quarter now. September 11th is last quarter. This is the quarter of action that is accomplishment. So we've connected with what we really want to do, and now we're pushing it out. So in romance-wise, though, it adds a bit of spice to your life, basically. So, you know, have a nice romantic night that night. There can be power struggles and money struggles as well. That's always the lower end of the energy, but powerful deals with money going on. So watch out for jealousy as well around this time. September the 12th is that aha moment that we're all going to get when Mercury and the Sun come together. So whatever you're working on, maybe it's some long-term goals that you have going on, or you've been meeting different people through groups, or your friendships, the associations, you're going to have some big information, juicy information comes together by this time. It's called the inferior conjunction, and it is it's setting up that when the Sun, the powerhouse, the CEO of our chart, meets up with the information, the messenger, and we get that juicy bit of info. Well, I like to call it the aha moment. Moving on here. There's a lunar eclipse coming up on September the 16th. That lunar eclipse is going to be in your 5th house. If you have children, this is a great time to just really revel in that. If you want to have children, perhaps this is a time that maybe you'll find out something about that. But the spotlight is there. So the spotlight is also on your creative efforts. So you're focusing in on that. This is love given, love received. So this is, that whole creative self-expression. So express yourself through love and romance, or express yourself through, what's in your heart, your creative gifts. And then, of course, your children represent your offspring, your deepest creative creations, because it comes from you. So that's a time to really watch there. Now, because Mars has been sitting with Saturn in your 2nd house. Mars is pushing you forward to make money and to do what you need to do with your values. Perhaps you're finding that your creative efforts or your children are going to cost you more at this time, and you're looking at what that means. Maybe there's college involved. They've gone to school, and now you're looking at all that, the expenses going on of going back to school. During this time, Mars around the world is going to be triggering the eclipse, because it happens the same day. It's square to it. So let's watch for aggression and violence and things like that around the world. Don't be surprised, because somewhere in the world somebody's going to be using the lower realms of this energy. But for you, it pushes you forward in your money-making ability, to support your creative efforts, to support your children, to support that new child that you had in those ways. This whole eclipse, Virgo and Pisces, it's all about balance. It's all about balance of how hard you work, and Scorpios can work really hard, how hard you work, and what you take off to rest your mind and your body. That's the meditation, the yoga, the resting. It's that whole mind-body connection. These contracts, business, direct, September the 20th through September the 23rd. Perfect times for moving forward with business deals and contracts. Mercury goes direct September the 22nd. Mercury trines your ruler Pluto on the 23rd. Fabulous days. September the 23rd also. It's a Venus day. It's a Friday, and Venus goes into your sign. Please go out and celebrate, Scorpio. So I love it. I love that. On Monday, September the 26th, this could be a really interesting day in the market. The Sun is going to be joining Jupiter. Very expansive. This is an annual message that we get. This is in your 12th house. So you may be planting some seeds of, things that you're working on that no one else sees yet, behind the scenes work that you're doing. Scorpio loves things that are going on behind the scenes. So take care of your family and your home life behind the scenes. You're nurturing something behind the scenes, or maybe you're just spending more time at home working on something. Pluto goes direct. It's a power shift this day. So your ruler, you're going to be feeling even more powerful when it moves direct in your 3rd house. So there's powerful messages that are coming out, and you're going to be utilizing that, hopefully, in really terrific ways, because it's going to be meeting up with with Scorpio, like I said, on October the 19th. So this is where you're going with that. Use this powerful time to make a difference because you have the ability, Scorpio. Mars goes into Capricorn September the 22nd. We said that's your third house. This is about building foundations for a future. Mars loves to be in Capricorn. And then we're working up to September the 30th. This is a new moon in Libra. This is behind the scenes. Libra is your 12th house. That's why Scorpios are really, they're looking for that soulmate connection, because that's behind the scenes. It's your gift, this real soulmate connection, but you have to learn to trust. And so the new moon in your 12th house is allowing you to now wind down your solar year, get ready for a new one, and to really bring out the best that you have. Now, the reason I'm saying that too is because the ruler of this moon is in Scorpio. Venus is going to be in Scorpio. So that's all about bringing out the best part of you. Be clear about your intentions and what you really want. And at the same time, Mercury is back to the point of the solar eclipse. Excuse me. Last September, 20 degrees. So we're going to see how far we've come since last year in this area of your life with your goals. You're going to see, wow, you've accomplished so much. And you can just go on to make, even better, better use of all this. So again, that time when the moon and Venus are coming together, mark down October the 3rd. I want you to prepare for this. It's another moon-Venus day, but it's in Scorpio, your sign, so celebrate during this time. That's Rosh Hashanah as well. I love that Venus is coming into your sign, Scorpio. This is really, really great. By October the 6th, Mercury is going to be back to 29 degrees of Virgo. We're all going to have it figured out by then, hopefully, because it's just a push for work right now. And October the 7th, Mercury goes into Libra. Again, that's slipping into your 12th house. So your mind is on your preparation behind the scenes, getting very powerful. That same day, Sun is squaring Pluto. So again, you're feeling this surge of power and confidence from the Sun to your ruler. And I just want to finish up with a few stones I've been telling everybody about, like grounding, obsidian. This is really good for grounding us during this time. Saturn is very prominent. It's prominent for you. And the mind type of things, because all this Mercury going on, communication, wisdom, self-improvement, studying, concentration, tiger's eye, carnelian. So if you're into some of the crystals or stones, or you want to learn more about them, look into those. Also, Scorpio is about healing. The deepest, the highest part of energy is the greatest healers out there. And I would, look into, my sun is in the 8th house, so I'm Scorpio by nature in that way. But I love diffusing oils and healing with the different oils. Start to look into some of those. Some of the, I use Young Living. I like only the highest quality grade because I want to breathe it in and put it in my water, whatever. But peppermint, eucalyptus, this great blend, purification, clarity, orange, putting clove into the water. Look into these ways to uplift you during this time. All right, Scorpio, reach out to me at kk@kkastrology.com for a personalized reading so we can look at your chart. But you have a fabulous month, and thanks for watching.